Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stars and Stripes Cup Series, Season 5, race number 3 for the Pocono 200. Tonight, these drivers are ready for some action after a dramatic flare last week at Texas that came down to tire strategies and who could survive, wrecking themselves out of the race. It came down to that of Ken Campbell getting to victory lane. Like we said, this is race number 3 for the Pocono 200 at Pocono Raceway. And this is going to be an interesting race to watch as they're here at the Tricky Triangle. 3 very different corners. And how do you survive it? Well, to give you coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, my name is Sam Dyer. With me is that of Zach Hall and Robert Moyer running productions. Zach, tonight, Tricky Triangle, these drivers with Stars and Stripes certainly are going to have their hands full.
Yeah, they definitely are. We've seen that through the first couple races here this season. I mean, back to last week at Texas, completely green race. I could see the same thing going down here at Pocono. You know, no stages here at Stars and Stripes. So we could go this whole 80 laps in a clean and green distance. That's where strategy is going to come into play. How will these guys figure it out? That this track always seems to have some different type of strategy that you have to play to put yourself in the right position, because it's just so tough to pass around here with these long straightaways. But we'll see who can master it tonight. It's definitely a tricky track, as it's in the name, but it'll be fun to watch as these guys come off, a fantastic race last week. I cannot wait to see this Pocono race.
Yeah, last week we had a lot of drama and flair in those final about 15 to 10 laps. Thought we were going to see the 4 of Aaron Hale come away with a victory, but could not get it done. Instead, it was Ken Campbell, which Ken Campbell looking like a favorite after their practice race earlier this week. One of the drivers actually won the practice race, but there's still a lot of other drivers to watch out for. We've also going to be having last season for season 4 when they were running the Gen 6 Cup car. Kyle McCoy going to be running, who won here. And then as well, a lot of the drivers that are going to be racing here tonight have actually led the most laps. Back at season 1, it was Derek Offerman that led the most laps here at Pocono. Didn't have Pocono for season 2. Season 3 was Scott Rickard that was dominating with the most laps then. And then last season was that of Kyle McCoy winning and leading the most laps. But here tonight, Zach, with 30 seconds left in practice, Scott Rickard top of the board by 1/10 over that of Travis Dart, which Travis Dart, like he's been doing last season and this season, 27 is looking quite strong for at least the 1-lap pace.
Yeah, continuing that trend of being a very good qualifier and showing a good, strong pace for sure is Travis Dart. But yeah, the point you brought up about Scott Rickard, I mean, he goes out and wins that initial inaugural race of the season there to kick it off in the shootout race at Daytona. Didn't work out, though, in the first 2 points races for him. So we'll have to figure out what goes on here tonight. I'm interested to see as he's top of the board right now. It's going to be fun to see if he can bounce back and get back to where he was, you know, during the last few seasons. I mean, he's been dominant at some points, and I'm going to be interested to see if he can continue that into this Gen 7 car.
It's going to be one of the biggest races of the season. 38 drivers have made it into the server at the end of practice. Here for qualifying, going to have 5 minutes to put down your fastest lap. You're only given 2 laps to do so. And for these drivers, I mean, Zach, the Tricky Triangle, 3 very different corners that these drivers have to handle. This is certainly going to be interesting, especially in turn 1, in the exit of turn 1, where in a lot of other series that we've covered here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, that's been the trouble spot.
Yeah, it's usually been turn 2, which will be turn 1 tonight, technically, since you got 3 turns here tonight. It's usually been the most tricky situation for most of these tracks that we went to, but we'll see what we have here tonight. Is the tunnel turn there in turn 2 is so tough here at Pocono. Then also turn 3, super flat. I mean, you look at Pocono, you know, we bring up 3 different style turns. It's based on 3 different racetracks. Turn 1 based on Trenton, New Jersey Speedway. Then you go down to the tunnel turn. That's based on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And then turn 3, you're going to have the Milwaukee Mile. So 3 classic tracks put together in a 2.5-mile configuration. It sets up for a driver that has to really adapt and be good at every single part of the track. You can have parts that you're better than somebody, but if you're consistently better than most, you'll be able to put all 3 of those corners together and put great lap time together. That's going to be key here in this qualifying session. Is we're looking at a very fast 7 machine.
Here comes last season winner, that of Kyle McCoy, going to be starting off qualifying for these drivers. Their 1 warm-up lap has been concluded. It's time for the timed ones as the 7 rockets his way into turn number 1. I mean, Kyle McCoy, a driver, I was looking at the stats, and, you know, for a lot of the drivers, they haven't started off well, some of the quicker drivers we thought of. Aaron Hale, after his struggles for race number 1, and as well coming to the end of race number 2. We also think of Kyle McCoy, his struggles last week. Both drivers that are in the mid-20s or late 20s in points, they're going to need a better boost for themselves. But I was looking back to last season, Zach, Kyle McCoy was 35th to 36th in points for the first 3 races of the season. I mean, first 4 races of the season points-wise. Last season, the season that he won a championship in, showing some of these drivers, they might struggle in the early going, but their season isn't done just yet.
You couldn't have said it better, Sam. I'll tell you that much, because Kyle McCoy, I mean, yeah, he started off super bad last season, and right there at top of the board so far, and the times that we've seen with that first lap is actually Scott Ricker going to jump ahead of him with the exact same time, so very close there between those two. But Kyle McCoy was threatening for that lead and win last week, just broke that right front tire along with, like you said, Aaron Hill there. So those two were showing great pace throughout that race. I think they'll be able to make a bounce back here tonight as they continue to show that long run pace in this Gen 7 car is really critical, as it looks like McCoy kind of missing the corner there in turn 2 is this qualifying lap going to have to go for the next one.
The driver that we know from last season that was so strong at qualifying, Chris Chavez-Essery, going to be top of the board for the 10, needing a good rebound for that 10 machine. Essery, certainly a driver to watch out for if he can keep that speed, but coming out of turn number 3 across the line, it's the 7 of Kyle McCoy. Can he best it? Only up to 3rd with that of a 54.555, but Ken Campbell top of the board with his second to last lap, his last lap of qualifying. As a couple of more drivers coming across. It's good to see the competitive drivers that are up front. We don't see our first rookie until you fall back to 6, where Will Bustler is.
Yeah, it's definitely showing right there. It's actually Andrew Hess going to jump up there, up ahead of Timmy McNally, up into the 5th position for the 54 machine, as King Campbell still holding on to the top spot, and I must say by a wide margin here, Sam. That's not a normal gap you see with, you know, these stock car style races on these bigger tracks like this. Usually a little bit closer, but King Campbell really able to exploit that lap and get the best time out of it. As right now, Gratton's going to be the driver that's closest to him, as he just edged out Chris Chavez-Essery.
Well, you talk about the bigger tracks. You also noted on it a couple of times when you go to super speedways. With the most recent tire package, there's that first lap, you can burn off a lot of your rubber, and Ken Campbell had one of the slowest first laps.
I really like that strategy. Really just went out there and paced himself. And, you know, you wouldn't think too much of Pocono being a major tire wear track, but it being 2.5 miles, you're doing a lot of mileage on a tire here, and it's very high speed corners and they're flat, so it makes it very, very tough on the tires, not only in turn 2 and turn 3, but down in turn 1 with the high banking, you really load the tires up there with the high speed. So it's a tricky track. I think that's why they call it the tricky triangle for sure, but it's just something these drivers are going to have to deal with for most of the night, trying to get the best out of it. It looks like Thomas Ogle here and Joshua A. Robinson able to jump up 2nd and 3rd, so those rookies hitting back here.
Late surge for those drivers, as Zach Kreitz, as well as a couple of other drivers, deciding not to put down a time. Going to be our last 3, but with that, qualifying is done. The surprises are starting to show. Well, as we take a look at where our qualifying results will be. Top of the board, going to be the driver for winner from last week at Texas. It's Ken Campbell in the number 15. As well, winner from the practice race just a few days ago for this league. Going to be having the biggest mover on points after last week's race. Thomas Ogle going to be in 2nd place with Joshua Robinson. Going to be in 3rd with Jason Gratton in 4th. That of Chris Essery in 5th. That of the going to be seen driver hoping for a good run, the 05 Scott Rickard, as well as that of Andrew Hess. Going to be in 7th. 8th going to be Timmy McNally with Kyle McCoy in 9th. And Cameron Sarton finishing out your top 10.
In the 11th position, it's going to be 12, Andrew Medlin. Alongside him, it's going to be 23, Dylan Grimm. 13th is going to go to the 31 of Trey Jackson. In the 14th position, it's going to be Christopher Wade, our winner from Daytona. 15th is going to be our rookie, Will Bustler. Alongside him, another rookie who had a strong showing last week. And 16th is Brandon Pierce. 17th is going to go to Nate Lynch, along with Derek Offerman in the 18th position with Ross Tatum in 19th, and Dylan Glass rounding out the top 20.
21st is going to be that of Michael Lynch. With Mike Lynch going to be as well. Philip Chavez going to be in 22nd. Randy Cornwell going to be in 23rd. With that of Ryan Lynch in 24th. That Max Ward going to take 25th position with Patrick Hastings in 26th. That of Brian Burchett going to be in 27th. With that of Brian Chu in 28th. 29th is going to be that of Ryan Lynch in the 24. Finishing out your top 30, it's Aaron Hale in the 4.
The 65 machine, it's going to be George Kosick starting in the 31st position. 32nd going to go to the 69 of Martin Perry. 33rd is going to be Sam Siegel in the 48 machine. 34th is going to be Ken MacArthur. And 35th is going to go to Paul House as our last 3 drivers, Zach Kreitz, Travis Dart, and Doug Pierce, did not take times, as that's our 38 drivers here tonight at Pocono.
38 drivers ready to go. And Zach, talk about these drivers. There's 38. This field's been massive. We had 39 drivers for the first race at Daytona. Then we had 37 last week at Texas. 38 this week. But how much of the track position is going to be important for the drivers that qualified up front compared to those that didn't put a time or were going to be starting deeper in the field?
It's going to be a very tough track to pass, I think. That's going to be one thing I think people that start in front of the back are going to have to deal with. You're going to have to be patient. I think tire wear, like I said, is going to be huge. This 2.5 mile racetrack, it can really hurt the tires very quickly. And if you go out there and try to run too hard, too early on, and try to gain too many spots, I think you're going to be going backwards. But you can't also try to drop back too far. It's always, like we say, the game you play as a driver. How much do you save and how much do you use? If you're farther back, you're going to have to use more than the guys up front, clearly, to try to get up there and gain that ground. But it's going to be fun here to watch how they do it. We've seen drivers last week really gain ground throughout the field and be able to be good on the long run. That's going to be, I think, another key here tonight, is that long run pace. Is, 38 cars, it's possibility for cautions here tonight, but this group here is so good at racing very hard and clean. It could go all the way, so we can expect any outcome here. It's going to be a fun night of racing here at Pocono.
Never know what you're going to find. Pocono here this evening, going to be 80 laps in total, unless we need to go into overtime where we have one attempt for this field. Got 3 sets of tires left in pit road for the whole entire race with no fast repairs. It's going to be a big factor if we see a big one strike here early on at Pocono. And here for the 3rd race of the season, they're going through turns 3. Where's turn 4? There isn't. This is the tricky triangle. Pocono 200 about to get started. That of Ken Campbell, that of Thomas Ogle, as well as Joshua Robinson, Jason Grattan, Chris Essery, going to be your top 5. Ready to get rolling here this evening. As we wait for the pace car, there he goes, making the hard turn to pit road, and we're green here for the Pocono 200 for the Stars and Stripes Cup Series Season 5, down into turn number 1. How are these cold tires going to react? Here we go, Zach.
And right off the bat, look at that, Sam. It's Thomas Ogle on the top side at 83. Great start from him there. He's able to pull alongside Ken Campbell here. We'll see if the run off the top side works as it's stacked up from that group behind us. There's contact for the lead here off of turn 1.
Thomas Ogle holds on, but a hard contact with Ken Campbell. Going to be fading back into battle for second. It's going to be that of the other rookie of Dan Robinson to the outside. The 30 trying to make these moves for himself as Chris Essery, Grattan, and others have to just watch as Thomas Ogle, what a launch, a hold on, but through the tunnel turn, the rest of the field somehow keeping it clean as everyone makes it through. It's Thomas Ogle into turn number 3.
Great start from the 83 for that second outside position to take the lead. That's going to be something. The question, if we get a late race caution, what lane do you want to pick? We just showed that outside lane could be very, very strong, but it's the battle for that 3rd position. That's the one that's really hot at the moment. It's Joshua Robinson and Chris Chavez Essery battling for that 3rd and 4th position. Is now single file throughout the majority of this field, is about back from 10th and really starting to battle up.
Up and on board with the 10 of Chris Essery, figuring out how to get by the 30. A little bit of a shuffle by Robinson, but Robinson in the number 30 holds on for now as Jason Grattan tries to set up. But we look further in the field. Cameron Sarton, one of the drivers that's really had a strong run last week at Texas, didn't get the finish that he wanted. Felt like he could have won that race, but a little bit of pitch strategy issues hurting that of the 94. But further back, Dylan Glass in the 16, struggling out of the tunnel turn as he continues to lose 5 to 6 positions.
Yeah, he's going to be dropping way back there. I mean, he's going to lose almost around 7 positions here with this loss here, as he got up into turn 2 up there and missed the corner, got up almost into the wall. I don't think he got it. He got right against it for sure, but had to back way out of that thing. Lost a lot of momentum here in that qualifying position. Now down the drain, as he's going to have to try to gain his way back up here, as it looks tough right now as these drivers are all trying to figure it out. And the key is, how big is the draft going to play a factor here? These cars very light on the draft lately with the latest updates we've got with it, but I will say this track is going to tend to lean more towards that drafting side with how long these straightaways are. As you can see, that outside line just pulls back there with that 16, getting the draft from up to the cars ahead. But now on the bottom of the tunnel turn, Will Bustler trying to make it happen here with Dylan Glass.
Bill Bustler trying to get those moves and getting forward if possible as he's side by side with that of Dylan Glass in the 16. You get the great shot of it as we're riding on board with the 20 of that of Derek Offerman. Offerman, a driver early in this league's life cycle. This 20 was looking very strong for himself. Currently mired in 20th for the 20, but certainly a driver to watch out for here tonight. If he can get into a better long run pace, I think Derek Offerman, who showed last week, was very conservative on those tires, made a great run late in a surge. Talking about surge, pass for the lead. Ken Campbell makes it over Travis Ogle.
That's a big move for our leader there, Ken Campbell, now to go around the outside. After starting on the pole position, losing the lead, wanted to get that back, but it's the battle back there behind this group. There is Ken Campbell going to try to get away from Ogle here and try to get his position solidified, but it's going to be Scott Rickard on the attack back here in the 05. He's trying to go forward, and it's Jason Gratton in the 91. He's going to look to the inside down here in the 3.
Trying to make the pass over that of Gratton, and will do so. Gratton so wide on the exit of the corner, but here comes that late push, trying to get the better launch out of the corner. It looks like Gratton with the draft, with the better launch out of turn 3. The 91 holds on, and now got to watch out. Scott Rickard's going to be in a position where that of Essery is going to take that spot away from the 05.
Yeah, and it just shows there, if you don't make the pass on the bottom and you lose momentum, if they got a group of drivers lined up on the outer groove, it's going to help pull them along with that draft. And Essery did a great job there. Just to latch onto that is right behind this group. It's Sarton here as he's made his way up into the 7th position in that 94 machine. And he's definitely been gaining ground on this group here as he's made it past Timmy McNally and Dylan Grimm.
Right now in the first 5 laps, biggest movers in the top 10 going to be Cameron Sarton in 7th place to see here for the 94. As well, going to be Dylan Grimm back in 9th place for the 23, both up 3 spots from where they qualified. Biggest mover overall, though, is going to be up 8 positions. That's back in 14th place, where Philip Chavez is going to be laying in wait for the 8 machine.
Yeah, Philip has done a great job to get himself up into position here and gain some ground on some drivers that had mistakes. As we look at this group here, it's Trey Jackson putting the pressure on the 16 of Dylan Glass here, trying to make his way into the top 16, top 15 from that 13th starting position. So drop back a little bit. And Trey Jackson, that's kind of a common syndrome with him. He drops back here early in the run, but I think that's a tire-saving mentality from him. He seemed to do the same last week and had a good solid run there at Texas.
Want to give updates for drivers even further back. Back on lap number 3, come to lap 4. Contact between that of Martin Perry as well as George Kovacic. Going to be putting Martin Perry with heavily damaged is the 96. He's been in pit road for over 2 laps. Going to be a lap down currently, but Martin Perry, this was not the way that he wanted his season to start, nor really wanted to see this race start for himself, as he's still in pit road getting repairs done. As well, surprised to see, driver that almost won last week, all the way back in 34th position, is where we find Aaron Hale.
Yeah, Sam, you stole the words out of my mouth. I was looking through our leaderboard. I saw the 4 pop up, and I said 34th. And it definitely caught me off guard there. He started in 30th, so had a really tough qualifying. I mean, 6/10 off what he ran there in practice, so maybe didn't get the exact lap that he wanted. And, our thing in past previous seasons here with Aaron Hale was just never had the qualifying pace. It was always a driver that had to make it from outside the top 20 into that top 5, top 3 possible area. So we'll see if that continues the trend. I think right now we know he's saving tires from his style. That is just what he's probably most likely doing right here, is he's lost 4 positions. But I would imagine to gain some of this time back. We'll just see how much he can gain back, as you don't want to lose too much. But it worked out for him in Texas, so you cannot definitely doubt this man when it comes to saving tires. Is behind that group. They're battling here with MacArthur and Chu.
Yeah, MacArthur and Chu are going to be trying their best to battle with one another. As you see, Brian Chu going to be very low and losing a lot of positions. Is this 11 machine going to be down 8 spots as continues to falter down this field? These are drivers correctly battling for last place, as now it's going to be that of Chu and Doug Pierce, as well as Ken MacArthur, all battling for 35th position. But a driver that's losing a lot more ground as the 11, again, very loose out of the corners, going to be Andrew Hess. First race of the season for the 54, going to be an 18th spot. It's down 11 positions, our biggest quote-unquote loser of the night so far. I'm curious on if this is because of just using up tires too early in those first 3 laps, or just struggling to find any type of grip.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to monitor what his rest of his race goes on, because that was
issues 7. That of going to be senior 3-time champ into pit road. This is odd to see.
Yeah, this is odd to see, but I'm starting to think they're kind of doing this race backwards, actually. Running almost such as a road course. You don't go a lap down at this racetrack, so this kind of makes sense here in my way of thinking about how this race is. They're not. Oh, actually, no, this is weird. He just drove through pillar. Did he have a black flag?
I didn't see a black flag on board for the 7 of that Kyle McCoy, but just comes through and does a drive through. That is one of the most bizarre moments to see here early on. Again, not going to be going a lap down like you said. Could have been a drive through penalty that just wasn't on our scoring card.
Yeah, we definitely didn't get nothing here up here, no notification about it. But yeah, odd scene. But the one lucky thing, like I said here, Pocono, you don't go a lap down when you go down pit road here. So he's not going to be too far behind you because he didn't have to make a pit stop. So he's going to be, I mean, he's going to be far behind to take that back. But he's definitely going to be in still position if we were here to get a yellow to hold on to that lead lap and be able to make some spots up. But major loss and not what he needs after that upset last week in Texas of having the right front damage that took him out of the race.
Do not want to be seeing that, but some drivers are loving what they're seeing in front of them. That's going to be Travis Dart in the 27. Going to be seeing that of Kovacic, also Siegel battling in front. Got to give huge credits to some of these drivers. Sam Siegel, George Kovacic, 2 drivers that haven't had the best runs so far in their first 2 races of the season, but doing a great job right here. Same for that of Paul House in the 18. Drivers that are just trying to stay in the top 30 this early going here at Pocono.
Looks like a little bit of stack up there as the 48 now going to have the attack from the 65 of Kovacic around the outside. As looks like that 48 machine of Sam Siegel is definitely dropping back here. As now it's going to be the 24 Brian Lynch going around the outside, and he's going to drop into the outside lane and luckily try to hold on to that position. But Travis Start's not going to be too far behind. But, you know, the question is, Travis Start not qualifying there after being second fastest in practice? Kind of caught me off guard. He actually makes contact, and that is a major incident back there between the 27. We didn't get to see that on camera, but, man, you can see the damage to the 48. Just nowhere to go. The 27 missed the corner.
And Sam Siegel, again, a poor showing, came in last in points. He showed up at Daytona, had a poor finish, and going to have another one here this evening. Heavily damaged down below, but this is when things are going to get interesting, Zach, because he's got a blown engine. If he comes to a complete stop at any point and then our leaders come flying on by, this could bring out a yellow, so he's got to hope that he can at least keep a minimum speed, which he's doing so far.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of keeping somewhat of a decent speed up here where it wouldn't bring out a yellow, and luckily we got access roads here on Pocono, so he can kind of pull out of the groove here and get onto this apron here. But it's definitely unfortunate sight to see there for that 48. Like you brought up, Sam, it's just been this season so far for him, just getting caught up in stuff. So we'll see if he can rebound from that next week. But definitely the long trundle back to pit road here, and it's got to be upsetting for him because really none of his doing, just Travis Start kind of just missing the corner there and getting up into him and just body slamming him in the wall.
As you see, this is the train of our leaders so far. This is going to be the drivers from 19th to our from 9th to our leaders as they drive on bypass. That is Sam Siegel, who makes it onto the off-axis road and heading to pit road. But right now, Ken Campbell, Travis Ogle, they had pulled out to a half a second lead at one moment. They've been caught. And now it's going to be Scott Rickard, Robinson, everyone else back to 9th place that are here in this first pack. But the question is, can they even make a pass at this moment? Because, Zach, they've caught up, but we talked about it, making passes here is going to be difficult at Pocono, especially with the older, each lap that goes on by, these older tires.
Yeah, it is very tough, and it gets even more tough when you're in a line like this. This is when it's at the hardest point to pass because everybody right here is together, stacked up on each other in this draft right here, just held in this line. You go to the inside to make that move. The rest of everybody else in that line, they're going to stick to the outside near the wall down the straightaway. And whenever you go to the inside of someone down that straightaway, you lose all that draft help. That person that you're side by side with is getting all that help. So it makes passing extremely tough. If you do not clear someone in the corner, it's almost impossible. I mean, you drop straight back. So it's a tough position for a lot of these drivers to have. But I think the longer we go on here, we are grouped up right now. But as we get into that 20-25 lap range there, as those tires start to really reach the end of their life, we're going to see some separation, I think, start to form.
Drivers trying to figure out when they want to come into pit road. It's going to be the next question up in the air. Does this good? It's going to be an 80-lap run. Already have seen that of Kyle McCoy hit pit road. Also Brian Chu, Sam Siegel, and Martin Perry all have come into pit road. Chu has been able to get back out on track, but Sam Siegel and Martin Perry both have required damage. Kyle McCoy came in with the drive-through, but potentially I think he might have been, could have been a better opportunity if he did take fuel and tires. Could have been an interesting call, especially if he knew he was going to be coming into pit road instead of doing a drive-through. Now going to be so far back for the 7. Everyone else going to be in an advantage over Kyle McCoy with the way that this run continues to go. But Zach, I mean, this field, certainly a lot of mind games are going to be played here at Pocono. Who's going to go with 2? Who's going to try to stretch out the fuel mileage as far as they can? Who's thinking about doing the minimum that they can?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was questioning myself here is, this is a 2.5-mile racetrack. We got a 20-gallon tank on these race cars, and I tell you, it's going to be pushing the limits of that 20-gallon tank to get to the halfway point of what these drivers would want to do to make this a one-stop race. So we'll see if they can get to 40. I do have my questions about that. Daytona, Talladega, another 2.5-mile racetrack. Also on the restricted plates, so you're using a little bit less fuel, and you're in the draft for a majority of the lap. So you don't make 40 laps there. I don't see it happening here, but I tell you, I've seen crazier things. I think some guys could stretch it farther here, having the ability to really lift and coast in these corners. It's going to be side-by-side almost here for the lead up front as Ogle, he's taking a chance here, trying to get to that quarter panel on the front straightaway. That's what's going to really pull this 15 back and help him get closer. It's helping right now as they're going down the front straightaway. It's helping the 2 behind them also.
It's going to be having so much help, having also that of the seeing the 30. Robinson giving some draft help, and now it's going to be side-by-side for the battle for the lead and for 3rd place. Out of the corner, though, Ken Campbell in the better, presumably the better positioning for himself, but that side drafting was so important and finally finds a little hole, or is it? Here comes Scott Rickard to the inside, going to be aggressive into the tunnel turn.
This is what the 05 needs. He's been showing a lot of speed in that practice session. Needs to get up here, get some track position, get some confidence early in this season to help his championship causes. He's a past champion here, and he's showing that right now as he's up to that 2nd spot and going to be the next driver to probably take a shot here at Ken Campbell. But Ogle, gotta say, great driving from him. He took his shot, but just come up a little bit short there. He'll definitely be looking faster as he's got a run on Rickard here now, going to be going to the inside, and then we'll see if Robinson behind him helps him, as it looks like he'll drop behind him, and it may help this group go by.
Let's talk about side drafting now. It is a great double-sided sword at times. It can be so helpful to slow down the driver in front of you once you get that quarter panel, but at the same time, if you stay side by side, you're hurting each other more than gaining an advantage. As Ogle makes the pass back, here's going to be the crossover, and going to be trying to come back to the inside. It's going to be that of Scott Rickard, not giving up. A little bit of deja vu from last lap. Here comes the 05 to the inside and making the pass cleanly, but it's going to be that of Robinson trying to poke the nose, but not close enough.
What a great pass back by Scott Rickard, not giving up. I mean, Ogle just cleared him off the exit of 1, but Scott Rickard did the crossover back underneath, side drafted, and went to the tunnel turn where is the preferred line down low. So he definitely had the advantage there, where usually that outer groove is the preferred way to go when defending a position, but that inside, definitely the way to go there in the tunnel turn is now. We'll see what they can do as now they're going to pull right back up to our leader, Ken Campbell, who had a little bit of breathing room there to look in his mirror, but now right back to the back bumper, showing how strong this draft is here tonight.
Draft continues to keep our top 9 in this first pack. Then in 10th place, so we find Andrew Medlin, as well as going to be having that of Christopher Wade kind of pocketing themselves, with another group being led by Will Bustler, that of Brandon Pierce, 2 drivers that are really coming with some strong runs after last week, especially that of Brandon Pierce, who was our biggest mover from Texas. And right now, currently up that of 3 positions, as behind them, a driver that we were concerned about losing so much time, now slowly making the march forward. Going to be in 14th place, now up to 13th potentially. It's going to be that 54 of Andrew Hess. He's doing a great job rebounding. We were talking about how we'll come back to him about that of 5-8 laps ago. He's done a great job coming back and surging forward. Might have been just saving those tires. That gives a little bit of scare.
Yeah, that was a great job of him to get into this position, but right now they're in a drafting race, and you got Trey Jackson at 31 really driving up here, pushing that car on the outside there of the 8 machine of Philip Chavez, and it's really been a great battle here between this group as they were all single file, now double filed up and trying to make something happen. We'll see what Trey Jackson wants to do. Does he go to the outside here, or does the door get shut on by Andrew Hess? He doesn't get there, as now Jackson going to have the outside line, but into the tunnel turn, you don't want to be there. It's going to be Hess taking control of that spot. As now look behind them, going to have a little bit of a look there for Cornwell, but he thinks better of it.
We got to go up to the lead because this is great battling back here, but the change of the guard goes to Scott Rickard, going to be taking the lead for the 0-5, but for how long? Thomas Ogle, Ken Campbell, Robinson, and also going to be Cameron Sarton making their surge forward. Sarton, the biggest mover of our drivers in the top 5, up 5 positions.
What a race we got going on here up front. I'm so glad these guys have been able to keep racing like this and not, it's a very tough track to follow usually, and man, these guys are showing that you can really make things happen here at Pocono. As it's Scott Rickard out front now. He's going to try to drive away from this field as King Campbell's just trying to hold on. My question is, did King Campbell just push a little bit too hard this run out front, getting that lead back from Ogle after Ogle took it from him on the restart? That's possibly why I think King Campbell's struggling here a little bit. But what to see is now he's in the draft. Will he be able to utilize that and try to maybe take a shot at the 05 and show that it's not the tires, it's just the draft out front really hampers the leader?
Well, also interesting to watch. I mean, this has been happening for the past, I would say, 10 laps of watching our leaders, is that Ken Campbell and others is the outside wall is not your friend for the 15. Here comes that of Thomas Ogle as well as Robinson. Little bit of a contact for the 15, but I was going to talk on the moment. He was running such a higher line through turns 3 than everyone else. I think Ken Campbell, those tires are toasted, and also he's going to be careful of that damage.
Yeah, I've been watching him too, Sam, and he's been pushing wide on a lot of exits too. So it's definitely got that right front probably a little bit overheated as now those two drivers have gone by him, Robinson and Ogle, the two rookies there, as great passes from that group as they've moved up to those spots. And Sarton, he's been the one that's really been charging up here, up to 6/10 behind the lead and up from that 10th starting spot. He's going to be one to watch out for as this run continues on.
Also of note, drivers coming into pit road going to be that of Ryan Burchett as well as Ken MacArthur going to be coming into pit road for service for themselves as we are a quarter of the way through this race. Coming to the last couple of laps, the decision's going to kick in. Do you go to lap 30, 35? Can you even stretch it to halfway? Questions are going to be thrown out as more drivers potentially might be thinking about pit road. As up front, it's going to be seen. How is Robinson going to take this pass for second? Diving it down low. Not able to make the pass just yet. They're also coming up to a little bit of lap traffic.
Yeah, a little bit of lap traffic, like you said there, Sam, up directly ahead of these guys. We'll see. That'll help Scott Rickard get a little bit of a draft. He's going to hope to possibly be ahead of that lap traffic by the time he gets to the tunnel turn, but not going to happen as Burchett just came out of pit road. This is going to be interesting to see if those new tires can get away. And look at the dirty air. It's going to really wash the 05 up there, as now it's going to be the run from that 30 machine, Joshua Robinson. What a drive for him from that third starting position, going for the lead here in the 3.
Going to be trying to go for the lead, not able to poke the nose just yet. Here we go, washing up the 0-5, almost exactly what we saw from Ken Campbell. And now going to be showing, does Scott Rickard hold on for a couple of more laps? And then Robinson goes for the attack. Oh, a little bit of switching, blocking, and what a late block there by the 0-5.
Well, that was, yeah, very, very close. He was trying to defend that inside and take the draft away. Saw that the outside was going to be taken by the 30, and he shut the door. And I tell you, he's lucky the 30 backed out of it there. That could have been a very, very bad incident for both of those guys. But Robinson's showing a little bit more pace right now and a little bit more turn in that race car, but just not able to make it happen as they're going to have to check up from behind. As it looks like once the leader just gets out front, it's so tough to lead.
Trying your best, and that arrow push for these drivers might be helping some, hurting others. Right now, going to be that of Scott Rickard, Robinson, Ogle, Campbell, and Sarton going to be your top 5. Then he's going to drop back to 6, where we find that of that of Chris Essery, Braden, and a couple of other drivers that are doing a great job holding on. Timmy McNally, Dylan Grimm, 2 drivers that really need a good day here, as that of Brad under pressure by the 88.
Yeah, Grattan, he's been having another fantastic, solid run here again for that 91, showing again that he continued from the end of the playoffs last season, not making them, but that momentum has carried over and that pace has trended completely for him. Is up front. Look at this. You can see Ken Campbell and Scott Rickard they're trying to help out that 15 and try to get them side by side. It's going to be a battle for that third spot, as Ogle going to have that 15 to the inside. And now he's going to take that spot there in the tunnel turn. Great pass by Ken Campbell as this top 5 group here trying to get away, but it looks like Essery here able to pull right back in that 10 machine in the 6th position.
Just, we're loving the fact when they go side by side, that toe is still there. Deeper in the field, though, this is back for 19th, 20th, and 21st. As we find that at Chavez, House, and Offerman, as Chavez, not the best entry into turn 3, but giving a great opportunity for the 18 down the front stretch. And here comes the pass. Paul House, a driver that is notoriously known for not having the best qualifying times, but always a great hard charger, up that of 16 positions, now up to 19th. Started back in 35th. Great job by Paul House.
Yeah, really great job by him there. So that's a great run. It looks like Offman, they're going to have the inside line there on Chavez. Is now it's going to be side by side for these two, and Andrew Hess behind him. He's going to probably try to take advantage of this. Does he choose to go low and help the 20, or does he take it 3 wide? Right now, it looks like he's going to be patient and wait his time as they go into the tunnel turn. Offman going to make the pass. Hess going to look to the inside, not able to get there, as just going to have to hold on to that spot for now in that 22nd position.
And as these drivers continue to race on, a couple of drivers battling just outside of the top 10 for 11th place. That is going to be Christopher Wade, Will Bustler, a winner from Daytona. Christopher Wade starting to get a little bit pressured by our rookie driver, Will Bustler, for that 11th place position, trying to catch up to Andrew Medlin, who's our 10th place runner. Figuring out how do you crack the top 10? Well, side-by-sides like this isn't the way you do it. Bustler into our Daytona winner of Wade, and the caution flag waves. More drivers involved. There's going to be Cornwell as well as others coming up. The squeeze, it's MacArthur, and oh no, turn 1, drama-filled hits.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty similar situation to what I seen earlier with Travis Dart. So this is just tough. It seems to get that car turned down into 1, and Bustler going to just get a little bit tied up in the weight, and man, from there, it really did not help these drivers. But I tell you what, it did help. It helped Kyle McCoy, who's going to be helped out by this caution as we go back to the replay.
It's also going to be given a little bit of how do you want to play this as we take a replay of this incident. Just see the 36 just get up, and I mean a little bit on the arrow push, getting that 36 high into the 53, but man, both drivers kind of felt hopeless in the center of the corner. And then you see the 53 holding the brake, but it's going to be the 36 that's not able to. You're trying to hold the brake as best as you can, as well as the 53, but there's just nowhere to go at certain moments, especially with the pack that was coming straight behind them.
Yeah, and that's Cornwell there in the 22 involved in that incident there. And look at Chavez there just going by. A great job by Phillip there, the 8, but the 97 MacArthur can't get it locked up. You saw it was locked up tires, and when those tires are not turning and they're locked up, they're not braking. So it's definitely unfortunate for him that he couldn't get the full braking power out of it as the tires locked up and just couldn't get it slowed down. Doesn't seem like he got too much damage. He might have got a little bit of lucky on the side there.
Always the hint of luck that kicks in on the virtual side of things, but two drivers that weren't lucky, Will Bustler as well as that of Cornwell, were not lucky for themselves, as well as Christopher Wade, going to be still in pit road getting service done. Again, no fast repair for these drivers, so if you get major contact, you're most likely out of this race. But Zach, now's the question, do you come into pit road for some of the drivers that have come in already, such as that of Brian Burchett, and a couple of others might be thinking about staying out potentially here?
Yeah, I think that group will definitely potentially think about staying out, but I think up front, as we're seeing, you got to come to pit road. 27 laps on the tires. You would be pretty much a track hazard up front, on a takeoff or a restart with the fall off we were seeing there. So definitely not what these guys want to see with this caution. Is it's going to definitely hamper the strategy a little bit. This is going to change it up and put it into more of a race now where it will be one stop technically from this caution here on. So they'll play it out here as well as they can, but definitely coming out to get tires is the best option right now. Is that fall off was major for these guys. It looks like Rickard going to try to win the race off pit road, and he does in the 05.
He does get out of there. The question is, will anyone get caught with the penalty of speeding out of pit road that you're trying to gain too many positions? Looks like everyone's going to be set and good making it out. Well, you see on our ticker, the blinking lights, yellow flags out. Well, let's talk about iRacing iFlag. iRacing iFlag, one of our newer sponsors added here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Want to give a big thanks to them as they are one of the best, that of iFlag virtual flag systems out there, as well as they give you great information, weather conditions, track conditions, your average per 5 laps on your fuel usage. If you're getting their pit stop board, that will give you plenty of that information. But if you just get the default iRacing I flag, it gives you clear, concise information on what the flag state is on track, and it will tell you then. Gotta give a big thanks to iRacing iFlag. If you'd like to get your own iRacing iFlag or any other supplies that they have there on their website, go to iRacingIFlag.com. Use our promo code FreakyFast2022 to get yourself some type of percentage off from iRacing iFlag. Thanks for being a major sponsor here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. And Zach, there's a couple of other sponsors that we have here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting.
Oh yeah, definitely have some great ones here, man. It's a new one here with us is Admin Box, and that's right, Admin Box with 2 X's there. And what is the Admin Box, you ask? Well, it is built for iRacers by iRacers, and the goal is to make race control as easy as possible. It has pre-programmed commands, no key bindings, needed, with race control, driver functionality, and pit options on it, with LED backlighting, so it makes it highly visible in any situation with a desk-mounted enclosure. I tell you what, the Admin Box is a great thing to add to your sim racing collection. So head on over to adminbox.com. That's Admin Box with 2 X's there, and use that discount code FFB/box with 2 X's to get that discount there, and that will give you race control at your fingertips.
As well, if you go get yourself, you've got your icons are going to be in front of you. You got your Admin Box. You got your iRacing iFlag. Well, you need to figure out how to get even more immersed into iRacing. Well, talk about pro drivers. When we were having the pandemic, they always talked about having the feeling and missing the feeling of having the cars and the rumbling actions of the cars, as well as feeling the squeals of the tires. Well, they got you covered over at ButtKicker. Get yourself a Gamer 2. It's an attachment you put on your racing rig. Instead of just hearing the sounds, why not feel them? Get more immersed into your sim racing action. And if you'd like to go get yourself a discount from ButtKicker getting your Gamer 2, use our discount code FreakyFast20 for 20% off. Again, that's ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Thank you to all their amazing sponsors here as well. We'll talk about a couple of more later on because we're about to get racing. And Zach, this is going to be an interesting one again. Having the field clogged up, everyone came into pit road. None of those that we might have thought could have stayed out did. So now it's on to see if they could survive this restart, or will it get chaotic?
I think it's about to get pretty chaotic here, guys.
Well, how are the cold tires going to be? Let's find out. Pace car is up. Flagman is ready. So are the drivers. We're green once again for the Pocono 200 as they roar down into turn number 1. It's going to be seen. That's 0-5 of Scott Rickard, a fabulous launch for himself. The rest of the field, how will they survive now? Come to the exit of turn 1.
Side by side for that second position. It's going to be Ogle and Robinson there leading that front lane, but then Sarton and Campbell behind that group, as this is going to be Ogle who holds on to second. Looks like Campbell going to be able to have that outside line to take it from Sarton, who's stuck on the bottom lane as that outside line gangs up on him.
Going to survive for now as everyone trying to slice and dice. How will they move forward? And right now, it's going to be that of Aaron Sarton back to 5th place. Everyone else single filing out of turn number 2. Has a little bit of fluctuation back in that 15th and further back positioning. But up front, it's all that of Scott Rickard with having that of Ken Campbell back and forth. The 15 going to need a little bit more help for himself. But the rest of the field looking pretty stout, surviving this first lap on this restart.
Great starts throughout the field definitely here, Sam, as this going to be 50 to go. This strategy right here, pretty cut and dry. Going to probably be splitting this into half. So I think you're going to see these guys push so hard here. We went almost 27 laps there green before. These are going to be shorter runs with 25 laps, so these guys got a good feeling on what their tires are going to do. They're going to know how to push them, how they want to use them. But as we've seen, you can't get away from your competition too much, so it's going to be tough all the way down to that checker flag as we're having great battling.
That means we're looking to around lap 55 to 58, going to be the window we're expecting some of these drivers coming to pit road. If you're going to be thinking about this race staying green, other drivers might try to push it even further than that. But up front, it's going to be single filed out as Scott Rickard's trying to pull away as fast as possible. When we look back to 10th place currently right now, this is where we find that 3 machine of Ryan Lynch. But he saw a driver high. That's going to be the 91 of Grad, almost getting that outside wall. And Zach, that seems to be the promising spot because we've seen everyone survive the exit of turn 1. Exit of turn 3 has looked like the danger spot here this evening.
Yeah, it always seems to be that spot here at Pocono. It's such a flat corner based off the Milwaukee Mile. Very flat, but you're going much faster than the Milwaukee Mile. So it does not equate, and it shouldn't work but it does, and that's why everybody that exits there, you usually get the closest to the wall on the exit of 3. And even compared to the tone turn, I mean, the tone turn is you're going to get close to the exit, but if you're getting close to the exit in the tone turn, personally, you kind of miss the corner. In 3, you got to get right against it, use every bit of the racetrack because it's just such a flat corner here, as you're going to see coming off of turn 3 here this time. These guys use every bit of this racetrack. Some guys go up high, cut down low. Some guys get right on that curb and slide up, as here on the exit, going to get nice and good there by that wall.
Trying to stay as calm as possible. Majority of these drivers right now, as you're seeing the field, spacing out from one another, and the majority of the field single filing out. As seeing further back, this is where we find no caution strikes. It's Ross Tatum involved.
That is not what you want to see for the 21. We had such a good week last week. Kind of quiet tonight, but this is going to definitely be not the noise he wanted to generate.
As driver spinning out, it's going to be the 21 bringing out this most recent yellow. Luckily for Ross Tatum, doesn't have required damage. But I think a lot of drivers getting aggressive in the back half of the field, as you're going to see the 21 and the 4 of Aaron Hale going to be getting side by side on the entry of the corner. I don't think either driver were expecting these types of movements, as Hale gets a little bit close on the entry, trying to maximize his arc into the corner, but gets a little too close and makes contact.
Yeah, just unfortunate. Trying to get, like you said, maximize that arc, get as far out possibly, and even get a little bit of a side draft on the 2 right before the turn in. And it just all came together right there, and that's just an unfortunate incident. And, I think Aaron Hill was being a little bit more aggressive than he was earlier due to the fact that he didn't really gain that much time by saving tires earlier in the race. I mean, I noticed he drove up into the 20s, but he was, I think, expecting more time to be gained. I think here he was showing a little bit more aggression, trying to make his way up with those positions, trying to help himself out here for later in the run. But this caution is going to come at a tricky time, too. I still don't think we're close enough to make it from this point. So we'll see. Does someone try to come top off and save enough fuel here till they wait till that, that final lap here on this caution? We'll have to see, Sam. It's going to be an interesting game these guys could play.
Well, not expecting a lot of drivers to hit pit road, but us up in the booth, we're going to step aside real quick. And when we come back, talked about it, Zach, there is still a lot of racing to go. We're not even halfway. Still one more pit stop before we are in the good. Who's going to survive at that money stop? Who's not? Well, we'll find out here in the next couple of minutes. We'll be back here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the Stars and Stripes Cup Series here in just a moment.
Drivers, start your engines!
4, 3, 2, 1, green screen.
I have no rear grip whatsoever. I'm sideways. Sideways everywhere. Come on, man. Do what you can. The vibration in this car is the worst vibration that I've ever had, and the shifter's broken again.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stars and Stripes Cup Series season 5, race number 3 here at the Pocono Raceway for Pocono 200. Currently, right now, Scott Rickard's up front. Thomas Ogle, that of Robinson, Campbell, Grattan, and Sarton going to be your top 6. Pace car is up. And let's see how the drivers will survive as we're coming up to halfway. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall. Robert Moyer running productions here at Freaking Fast Broadcasting. We're green as we head down into turn number 1. Well, let's try for a third time here, Zach, as the drivers roar down into turn number 1.
Yeah, third time indeed here. They say third time is a charm, so we'll see how it works out here. Is this going to be a little bit more chaotic than I think we expect, as these drivers are going to be trying to get everything out of these tires? It's going to be a little bit shorter run than what we were expecting, as these guys are all side by side down the straightaways. Ogle holds on the second, and we're seeing from back here, it is a log jam.
Log jam, but this is all starting for drivers third on that, side by side. A little bit of contact we saw riding down here with that of Ryan Lynch. He's going to have the 10 to his outside. That of Chris Essery. Essery's trying to hold his best, but Tim McNally giving a little bit of a roadblock as the 3 tries to dive it down low. Aggressive here is going to be that of Ryan Lynch, who's up 16 positions. Our second biggest mover of the night. Biggest mover still that of Full House back in 16th, but the 3, we saw a shining moment at Daytona at the start of the season. Really looking to find his best run here at the Tricky Triangle. Currently 10th place side by side with that of Dylan Grimm.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what his race can continue to do. There's this battle back here between Hess and Jackson in the 31. This 54 has been a great one. Is this like Jackson going to have to drop back into line with that group behind them there of Offerman and Medlin there, still trying to figure it out for the 12 machine. You know, Medlin is a driver that has been, you know, so good throughout the rest of the seasons. He'll figure it out at some point, but right now in that 15th position, battling hard back there with Offerman.
Yeah, and then some other drivers. Got that of Dylan Glass, who's recovered for the 16. He's now up 3 positions from where he started. He had fallen all the way back to 23rd at one moment. 16's doing a great job as he's side by side with Paul House, almost making contact. Got to be careful of touching the apron through turns 3, but his field certainly trying to move up the best that they can. But if we drop back just a little bit further than that, back in 19th place, Aaron Hale, who was involved with that wreck with that of Ross Tatum, he's still doing a decent job in 18th position, trying to figure out how to move past that of Dylan Glass.
Yeah, it seems he didn't catch too much damage there from that incident between him and Ross, as the left front looks good, as it was just a little bit of a hooking between those two, or sorry, the right front there hooked him just a little bit, so doesn't look too bad off there, so he'll be hanging on to what he can. But yeah, I think he'll definitely be more aggressive, like I was saying there, with that caution there and the incident he was involved in. It's going to be a little bit more aggressive here, as he learned that it's very tough to pass, and the draft is so dependent. If you get that far back, it's hard to make up ground on the guys ahead. As he's going to look to the inside of Glass here, is up ahead of House and Chavez battling also.
Eye bombs all over the place of drivers down into turn number 3, recognizing if I've got the momentum, I've got to try to utilize it. Otherwise, I'm going to be throwing away this race. And a driver that wanted that first caution that came out, the 7, Kyle McCoy, great job recovering up to 21st position when he had fallen all the way back to that 34th at one moment.
Yeah, he really liked that caution there for sure. This is going to help him a lot. And, you know, he had that 9th starting position. He was driving up through the field, was looking pretty good. And then at that moment, had to go down pit road there on lap 9. So right now, this 7 machine here in this 22nd position, or sorry, 21st position now, as he's got past the Lynches. He's going to be going after Nate Lynch here in this 25. Is he's gaining ground, and he's got a lot to work on, but still got half of this race left to do it.
For a lot of these drivers here tonight, I think a lot of them are recognizing, hey, let's just be patient with the drivers I'm around. I know they're going to overuse their tires, while others are recognizing if I'm going to be driving up front in our top 15 to top 10, the aggression level has to ramp up. Otherwise, you're going to be losing touch in pace, and also the draft for these front leaders that are going to start to pull away with the little mistakes that we're going to be seeing throughout this field. But right now, most of the field still all in touch with the draft with one another.
Yeah, it's a huge line of cars right now. They're almost very similar to what you would see at a super speedway, with guys just trying to find any bit of grip to get past and leapfrog ahead of their competition. And that's what makes it so tough when you pull out, like I said earlier, when you pull out down low, you don't have no drafting help like the drivers do up high, and it just makes passing that much tougher. And that's kind of where you get these stack ups, you know. It's interesting to say this, but this is what I would compare almost to what Formula One would call a DRS train. So got to get stuck here with your competition just due to you don't have the draft and the straight line speed to be able to get past that person to get that position. You may be faster in the corner, but being fast down the straights is key at Pocono with how long they are.
Want to know how crazy the draft is? Well, we're running back here with 24th runner, that of Max Ward, but it's actually our top 30 drivers. Technically, all still have the draft to our leader at some point, just because of how much the distance is between each driver so far. Everyone's still in line, and you see that action shot. Everyone still connected with the draft. The only drivers that aren't going to be Ken MacArthur as well as Ross Tatum, two drivers that have been involved with incidences. Right now, just hoping for bigger wrecks to strike so they can gain some positions. But one driver I'm really concerned about with how far he is ahead, Scott Rickard. He's up to almost 8/10 over second place of Ken Campbell. I think for Ken Campbell, you might recognize I don't want to overuse my tires too much, while our leader just being as aggressive as possible right now.
Yeah, he is trying to build a gap. I mean, it's 7/10 of a second gap, and from Ken Campbell back to Ogle, it's almost 7/10. So the gap from Rickard to Campbell is about the same from Campbell to Ogle, and these two very much pushing it. We've seen Ken Campbell kind of try to do this in the first run. He fell back into the clutches of the guys, but will Scott Rickard be able to get the draft broken here and pull away? It's a questionable situation, and like you said, I'm a little bit concerned for him too, Sam. When you see a driver pull out that far, especially when the draft plays this much of a factor, it's kind of like you're shooting yourself in your own foot. So we'll see what he can do here with this this lead out front. But man, right now, definitely got a sizable gap as Ogle and Robinson going to be trying to probably close this down here in the next few laps as we're looking at starting here. Is Grattan directly behind him in that 91 for the top 5.
Starting to close in each and every bit, but some of the drivers that are closest on track currently going to be the battle for 13th place. Trey Jackson, Andrew Medlin, they were on side by side with one another, as well as cracking into the top 20. Going to be the 7 of Kyle McCoy, trying to get by the 8 of Philip Chavez, who Chavez, kind of their biggest group in contest, going to be made. It's Nate Lynch gets spun around by Chavez.
Wow, we went right through that as that was happening there, and definitely an interesting situation, and kind of a second situation where we had an incident on the straightaway here. So unfortunate for Lynch, but I think that right rear is got a broken toe link.
It's not wanting to move, and for Nate Lynch, that could be an ending as he'll take the toe to pit road, but we'll take an instant replay on what happened here. Kind of looking identical to that Ross Tatum as well as Aaron Hale incident where the drivers came into the corner and the 8's going to slowly drift up, trying to get that better apex. The contact made, and there they go.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting situation to see there, and it's kind of one of those deals where two drivers going for the same spot on the track. Lynch is looking up ahead of him, who he's got, the 7 of McCoy and Glass right there ahead. He knows they're probably going to check up a little bit as they're stacked up on each other going into that corner. So he's going to look to the inside possibly a little bit. And Chavez also trying to get up their side draft and get as far out there as possible to open up that corner. It's just two drivers going for the same spot. And unfortunately, it just launched Nate Lynch. I mean, just right into that inside wall barrier there. And it was a hard lick to that driver or the passenger side of that car.
With that, the 25 again had to take the toe to pit road. Should be a night done. As now the drivers are in that questionable range here, Zach, where we're past halfway. This would be a 35, 36 to lap run for these drivers. So you take the risk of taking the pit stop now, or do you try to wait that extra 10 to 15 laps of potential another caution or coming into pit road under green?
Well, majority of these guys should have 2 sets of tires left in pit road. We started with 4 here tonight, so they've already used 1 set of the 3 they had in pit road, so they still have 2 sets sitting there. I think you have to pit now. I mean, you can make it on fuel, and not only that, but you'll have the fresh tires here. I think it's a no-brainer here. I think you're going to see pit road very, very busy here with a big group of drivers coming down pit road to get 4 tires and full of fuel.
Well, the drivers heading through that of turn 3. Currently, drivers on the lead lap going to be 32. Ross Tatum being the last driver on the lead lap. As here they come. You called it, Zach. Everyone into pit road to get service done. No surprise to see the majority of these drivers come in. The question will be for Will Bustler, that of Cornwell. Will they decide to stay out, try to get a wave around, try to get at least one of their many laps down for themselves as field comes in? Got to make sure you don't make a mistake into your pit box, and here they come.
Yeah, great stop for our leader, Scott Rickard, right into his box. You see a little bit of a lockup there from Ogle, and I did see 2 drivers backing up. It was Grattan and Essery, so those 2 having a little bit of a mistake to get in their box. We'll see how it works out here for the race off pit road, but definitely setting up here as this possibly could be the final stop of the night.
Being stopped by the 05, you talked about a great entry for himself. Other drivers, though, with the slides that they had, costing just that of anywhere from 3 to 5 tenths with their slides, which now gives them complete advantage to the 05 Scott Rickard. And going to be having a lot of drivers feeling strong for where they're at right now. But, I mean, Zach, these drivers certainly at this run got to catch up to the pace car. But this is now going to be potentially their money stop if we could stay green.
Yeah, if it stays green, that is the money stop, as they would say. So Rickard going to have to plan this one out. And, it's going to be interesting to see because he was pushing so hard there, knowing that it was a shorter run. I'm interested to see, will he, kind of back it down a little bit this run. So it'll be interesting to see how they play this one out, as they were definitely trying to open up the gap that last run.
Trying to get as much comfortable as possible for themselves. If anyone really is going to get sad as these drivers are past halfway, I mean, Zach, this is going to be one of the restarts, could be so important on how well they can run, but certainly gives us opportunity to talk to some of these drivers, which I'm curious on who you think we should talk to here, Zach, as got a couple of good options up front.
It's definitely some great options. Maybe that man in third. He's been looking pretty quick there. Thomas Ogle. He's been pretty strong. I'm interested to see what he's looking like.
Thomas Ogle going to be the driver that we're thinking about picking, trying to figure out what channel he's in. If he's even in a channel, that's going to be the big thing as we're trying to look to find. I don't think he's in any of these channels. He was one of the drivers also I was thinking about pulling in, but he's not in a channel, so we'll not be able to, as we will, you know what, with how long this is taking, we might have to come back to this on who we talk to next.
Yeah, it looks like our options, the ones that we're discussing, were not there at the moment. So,
come on, rookies, get into your channel so we can talk to you.
Yeah. Get that in-race interview, you know what I'm saying? We got to hear those strategies, but they're definitely focused right now. But, yeah, we'll have to plan out a different one if we get another caution here. Man, it's going to be interesting to see. Scott Rickard out front. King Campbell there, last week's winner at Texas, in second. I mean, this group has been amazing so far, and then we got the rookies sprinkled in, starting there in the top 5. McNally having a great run there in 7th. This is setting up to be a great finish here. I'm excited, Sam, because we got some good names up here in this group.
Gonna be that scene up front. Scott Rickard, who's been leading the most laps so far here this evening for the 05. Our pole sitter, that of Ken Campbell's going to be to his outside, but that of Robinson, Ogle, Sarton, McNally, Grattan, Grimm, that of Brandon Pierce, as well as Ryan Lynch. Going to be your top 10 drivers getting set and ready to go as we head into turn number 3. Drivers have been looking pretty clean for themselves. We've had ourselves, this is our 3rd caution of the night. We had a bigger one for our 2nd wreck, as we've had 2 almost identical contacts in the entry of turn 1 of drivers trying to maximize their entry point. Will it get cleaned up? Will we see someone get loose at turn 1? Let's find out as the drivers got fresh tires, cold tires. Let's see how they can react as pace car is off. The Pocono 200 is set, ready to go. It's the 05 once again. A fabulous start for himself.
Yeah, he's got that nailed down there as he's going to open up the gap. Now it's going to be King Campbell. The question, can he hold on to it? It's going to be Robinson pulling side by side for that 2nd spot, but we've seen that outer groove be the way to go here on the start. And there he goes, King Campbell selling around the outside. Robinson, though, going to take 3rd from Ogle, and that's what he's going to like to see. There's that battle between McNally and Sarton down the back straightaway.
Rest of the field able to get through that turn number 1 into the tunnel turn. The rest of the field goes as Scott Rickard and the top out that of 10. Going to be a single file out until we find ourselves around that 11th place side by side cluster of drivers. This is going to be that of Dylan Grimm as well as that of Ryan Lynch. Grattan all on top of one another, trying to pick and choose through turns 3. But on the exit of turn 3, it's all that of Scott Rickard as drivers hoping to not make any big wrecks here so far.
Oh, man, back there, Jason Grattan in the 91. Big run from him on the outside coming out of 3. And look at him push his car down the straightaway. I tell you what, that was a huge run from that driver out of the corner as he gave the push to Dylan Grimm down the straight. As we're looking back from him, as look now the 91 again up in that 3rd lane, just not getting the turn. But look at Essery there in the 10 machine. He looked for a minute there to go to the inside in the middle. He's going to push Ryan Lynch down this back straightaway.
helping as well as you can as the drivers continue to get that shove into the corner. Now the question is for that Chris Essery, who does he want to help next? Because that outside lane, you got the draft help of everyone else, but if you try to just assist one driver on the inner lane, you could be hurting yourself on the long run with not having as many drivers working with. But overall, it's just a mosh posh of drivers in this little bit of a hornet's nest of where do you go, as Grattan once again aggressive out of turn number 2. Out of turn 3.
Yeah, Grattan again just showing the aggression. He just cuts underneath Lynch, and he's got some gap here to possibly pull to the inside here and make this pass work. We've seen that outer groove be very well defended here in the 1. But the 91, if he can be patient enough here on this exit, he'll be able to get a good one. But Ryan Lynch there fighting back in the 3. Great launch off that top side. He's going to hold on to the position, and Grattan's going to be trying to jump back in line.
Who's going to stay in the top 10? Right now, both these drivers are inside of it. Ryan Lynch, Jason Grattan, but the 10 of Chris Essery is going to have some pressure behind, a little bit of drifting up, which gives an opening. And now Grattan, that over aggression, the tires, they might be starting to melt off of the way that he's starting to make some openings, but here comes that aggressive entry in the corner. Will it stick on the exit of turn 3?
He's been making turn 3 really work for him, but now going to be stuck on that bottom lane. Look, this is going to be Essery and Medlin up top trying to go around him here with the draft on this straightaway. Great job by that group up top there, but Grattan there losing spots. It all started from sliding through his pit box, was just in that 6th position coming to pit road. Now fighting just to stay in the top 10.
Hard struggles as here comes Andrew Medlin on the outside, keeping a very smooth line, a bobble from the 91, but able to get up in line. But here comes that speed momentum for the 38 of that of Brandon Pierce, going to back off, which is now going to cause a little bit of train reaction on the entry of the tunnel turn for everybody else. But gotta say, for these drivers, 30 laps to go and still the questions in the air. Can you make it to the end of this race on 35 laps of fuel for themselves? Because that's what this field's going to have to do. 35 to 36 laps is the window, but can they make it that far with how aggressive we're starting to see these drivers run?
And you know, we haven't seen nobody go that distance yet tonight. We haven't had a run that long, so we don't technically know if that is doable. You know, we're just assuming, so it will be interesting to see, you know, if it gets close, will some drivers save them a little bit of fuel that helps make it to the end? That'll be definitely something we got to watch out for. As it looks like Jackson here trying to hold on position, but still Jason Grattan up there battling hard as him and Medlin on the back straightaway. As Grattan's going to make the pass up ahead of here. Jackson about 2 cars for that number 91 there. Is Grattan really aggressive so far?
Yeah, 8th to about that of 13th, I would say, all on top of one another, willing to get aggressive and put the pressure on. And it's Jason Grattan that just continues to be stuck on the inside, not able to really find an opening to get in line. And when he does, feels like he's got a momentum to make a pass, then gets down low and is trapped once again. It's just a teeter-totter right now for the 91, who is ultimately going backwards.
Yeah, it's just a continuous effect. Like you said, they're getting to the inside, not able to make the pass in the corner, then getting the draft. That helps the guys on the outside. That helps pull them back by. It is a stack up into the corner with this group here as we look back to Aaron Hell, who's been trying to make up those spots. He's in the top 15 now, so made up a lot of ground here tonight, starting back in 30th. He'll be looking to make up some more here in this final portion of the race.
Right now in 16th place is Aaron Hill, trying to make the move, and there's the pressure, diving it down low and trying to utilize all the momentum possible. And you saw that closing right into the entry of the corner. That over aggression there, Zach. He's also, for the 4, going to have Dylan Glass on his rear bumper, and also Kyle McCoy, who's back up in the top 20, right behind this, you know, chain of drivers. That aggression by the 4 on the entry of the corners. Got to be careful on these tires here in the next 15 to 20 laps with the way he's running.
Yeah, he's definitely don't want to be using up those tires too much, as we've seen guys struggle here as that run goes on. And this will be the longest run we have of the night, as Hell really trying to make this happen here on the inside. It's so tough to pass down here, and one on this bottom side, but he's going to have a little bit of help from Glass down into the corner. But it's still going to be side by side heading down towards the tunnel turn. And behind that, McCoy going to get to the outside of Glasses. He's going to try to take an easy spot here.
Glass diving it down low, trying to get as far away as possible, trying not to get any of the side draft to hurt him. And it ultimately backfires as here comes Paul House on the outside. As House ultimately got to be impressed by the 18. Up now that of 17 positions with this pass. If he can get it done, But this is incredible for a driver that didn't qualify as well as he wanted to, but it's always the race pace that's great for the 18, but he's got to be careful because he usually is one of the drivers that really develops throughout a race, but like we saw there, contact to the outside wall, Zach been trying to survive to the end of the race. It's been a struggle for this 18.
Yeah, he's made big ground up for sure. We've seen throughout his career here at Stars and Stripes, but yeah, it's been the finishes that haven't been there for him. So showing great pace here once again as he's going to make marches way through the field, but that touch to the wall is something he does not want to continue to do. As he was taking a look to glass there, couldn't make it happen that time as he's going to have to slide back in line. So right now, running pretty strong, but House definitely going to be looking to gain even more as this race continues. As this group still battling very hard. As we got to remember, this is still the longest run, so maybe some of these guys could be saving a good bit of tire here.
Trying to save tires, trying to save fuel as for the drivers right now. For our leaders, so that's Scott Rickard. His best lap time that he put down all race was a 54.1 second time. His last lap that he just put down was a 54.9, showing that really right now Scott Rickard about 0.8 off of what his fastest time was. So starting to feel that wear and tears. We're 10 laps into this stint, only about that of 8 under green flag racing.
Then he's going to have Ken Campbell here look to the inside now, battle for the lead. Just as we start to talk about Scott Rickard, he's going to give up the lead here as Ken Campbell going to take the lead down into the tunnel turn. But look at this, Rickard going to do the crossover old style move here. Here comes Robinson and Ogle, though. Don't look too far behind. It's also Sarton.
Giving a little bit of a switch back and giving a tow are the drivers behind. That Robinson and Ogle not wanting to give up, but this is great timing onto the apron. A little bit of a bobble. Watch out for the 30 here on the exit because this is going to be hurting the 05 with that bobble to the inside. There it goes. Can Thomas Ogle potentially also capitalize on the mistake by that of Rickard?
Yeah, looks like Ogle's going to go with Robinson here to try to help push him down the straight and really help those two maybe make the position on the 05. But right now, the 30 on the bottom. Can he clear? I don't know if he'll be able to get that quarter panel out. And no, he does not. As now Rickard's going to have that 15's help. And the momentum here is just going to help pull him back in a second. But he's not going to waste no time going back to the inside here in the tunnel turn.
A little bit of a do-si-do to the inside. Goes that of Scott Rickard. He's going to be finding his way, any possible way to get back to the lead. A little bit of a shimmy there through the tumble turn, but it's going to be that of Ken Campbell, still with great run. But the nose ahead, still with Scott Rickard as they head down in turn number 3, side by side, 2 rows deep, as Thomas Ogle gets a great show in front of him.
Yeah, we've seen this before. Last time it was Rickard again like this side by side, but this time able to get a little bit better run, but he's down low, has to drop into that top spot. There is now Robinson was looking possibly to make a move, couldn't get it done. It's now Sarton going to be up the 4th with Ogle looking to his inside. These top 5 pulled away, but there's a major line of drivers behind him who possibly could be saving their stuff.
Keeping my eye on back in 6th place. Again, this is your top 5 that are going back and forth, making all these big moves. It's Timmy McNally. That last lap was 0.4 faster than our leaders. But the big issue for Timmy McNally, he's 1.3 seconds off of our leaders currently. He needs to gain a couple of more tenths if he wants to be within a second and gaining time because of the draft on the straightaways.
Yeah, this is very, very interesting to see how giant this line of cars is right here with Timmy McNally leading them. And he definitely was a lot quicker than Kate Kevin that last time by, but, you know, the racing going on up front definitely affected that. But these guys are going to have to try to close it down to that group up front who continues to battle along here as these guys down the Long Pond straightaway here just snaking along.
Trying to duck it down low. It's going to be that of Andrew Medlin trying to force the issue to the inside, trying to make the pass right now on Dylan Grimm. Will make it for himself, and a great pass by the 12 as he continues to move forward. Right now, going to be in front of him, going to be that of Chris Cesare, and as the 12 continues to try to make his march up to 6th place potentially here, let's take a look at what's going on. That of virtually compared to reality, as that is going to be Andrew Medlin in your blower right. It seems a little small. Let's make it a little bit bigger, shall we? As they get into the wall, big mistakes going to be shown. And oh no, Zach, you hate to see that for some of those drivers, as Medlin, he's got to be focused for himself as we're coming out of turn number 3.
Oh man, that was a big stack of theirs. It's going to be Lynch battling back there along with Grimm, but you can see our new live driver cam here for Andrew Medlin. You're getting to see the good shot of him here driving in that 8th position at the moment. And what a drive for him, Sam. He was fighting back there around the 15th, 16th position. Now up into this top 10. I think he's starting to figure out this next-gen car.
And speaking of next gen, they've got 5 different gears, and Medlin's using the top 2 as he's shifting down, then back up. I think that's an interesting thing to see for these drivers, especially on the fact that some decide not even to shift at moments. We're seeing it right now from Andrew Medlin.
Yeah, and this is a track that would be perfect for shifting. Long straightaways, very flat, slow corners, and that's why I love this shot. You get to see it. I mean, he's got the sequential shifter there. He goes forward to shift up a gear and goes back on that shifter to shift down a gear. You're going to see here down into 3, going to shift down, and I imagine into 4th gear. As he comes out of 3, he's going to quickly look to get to that shifter and shift back up into high gear here and try to carry that momentum all the way down this long straightaway.
Trying to maximize it as he can, but man, gotta say, for these drivers, it's always great to see these driver cams, because it just gives you a little bit more in depth on how they're driving. As again, shifting down into turn 1, that's also an interesting call to see for this 12 as we take an outside look at the battling that's going on track. But certainly, Zach, it's interesting on all the different factors these drivers put into, and after seeing those shifts being made, Andrew Medlin still running about 1.2 seconds off his fastest lap. Same could be said also for our leaders.
Yeah, he is doing a great job right now, driving very, very good, and you can see the gap that opened up behind him while he went to that driver cam. Ryan Lynch was able to get past Dylan Graham along with Brandon Pierce also, and Lynch is able to hold on to the 9th position, but this group back here, they're not done. This is where all the action has been going on, as they've been battling very, very hard here.
That they have, and also a little bit of context, what just happened about a half a lap ago. Travis Dart, one of the drivers up in the middle of this group, got into the outside wall during turns 2, lost a lot of time falling back, and also talking about battling for the lead. Ken Campbell trying to get past the 05. I mean, the 05's trying to get past that of Ken Campbell, but it gives an opening here for that of Robinson now.
Yeah, he saw this is his chance here down into the tunnel, trying to get this inside lane here. We'll see exactly what he tries to do. Is Scott Rickard not going to back out of it, going to try to hold this outside lane, but it's just so tough to do. The outside lane does not have a lot of grip, but still able to keep it side by side here as they head to 3. We'll see Ken Robinson clear him here. Is this allowing Ken Campbell to open up a little bit of breathing room here as this battling continues on? And look at these guys all running very high here in this groove, and that's telling me car's not very much wanting to turn. They're trying to turn the car down the racetrack and get that straight exit down these long straightaways that carry as much speed. It looks like Robinson going to lose out there after trying to make that position, and that's what happens here at Pocono, man. You lose out to that draft, you get to the inside line, don't complete the pass, you go backwards.
Struggling, going backwards, losing 2 positions. It's going to be that of Robinson as we're riding on board with that of Tom Sogol and Ogle, 4th place runner for the A3, doing a great job for the rookie here. Same for that Robinson, running in the top 5. 2 or 3 drivers, and then as well last season's Rookie of the Year driver, that of Cameron Sarton in 3rd. But it's going to be that of Scott Rickard trying his best to figure out what to do in this aspect of this race. But you got to say, in the middle of the field, they are still a hornet's nest from 9th on back. Majority of that battling that's happening is for that of going to be for 16th, Brad Glass and others, all on top of one another, and it's actually going to be the 20 pushed up into the outside wall. And you hate to see that for Derek Offerman, who continues to lose even more ground after contact between himself and Max Ward.
Yeah, Max Ward, just a little bit of contact between him and Offerman, like you said there, and look at how much momentum loss that was for Offerman, who is going to slide him way back there into around the 22nd position now. So Offerman losing out there, not what he wanted to see, but from what I see, not much damage on that race car, so he'll try to climb his way back forward here. He's got a long line of them to go through, that's for sure.
You know, climbing forward, our 3-time champ, the 7 of Kyle McCoy, up now to 13th. Remember, had to do a drive-through penalty for himself. Back on lap number, I believe that was 8 for the 7. Fell all the way back to 34th position. And now with the luck of cautions coming out, has now climbed up to 13th, top 10. Potential is here for the 7 as we're coming up to 15 laps to go. And drivers have to make the choice. Do you get aggressive or do you save fuel to make it to the end?
There's a lot of questions going through, I think, a lot of people's minds right now here at Pocono. That's no doubt, Sam, is, yeah, you gotta give credit. There's Aaron Hill actually behind there, makes the pass on Grimm. You gotta give credit to the 7 machine. I mean, he is a driver that's very, very fast. And, you know, I gotta say this, is a lot of drivers that are fast, they do boneheaded moves when they're stuck back in the pack and are very, very not patient. He's shown so much patience working his way through this field, now up to 13th, and really, he's got plenty of time here to go even farther up with about 15 laps here still at Pocono. That's a long time to go. He's still got time to do it, and I tell you what, he's definitely going to have the long run speed as he always does in the 7.
And also, I mean, you got to think back to last season. I noted on it as well at the top of the broadcast. Kyle McCoy was in the mid 30s, really in points for the first three or four races of last season before he came back, really made the charge. I think having that poor of a start of the season last season really did change the mindset for the 7, giving him that momentum and knowledge of, it's all right if we fail at the start. We always have the end to come back to, and that's what we're seeing from the 7 machine, trying to get a top 10 run here tonight. Potentially could happen with how much everyone is closed in on one another. Speaking of closed in, a little bit further back than these drivers battling for 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. It's Derek Offerman, Chu, and also Chavez going to be with one another. And Derek Offerman with that side damage, doing a decent job for himself. But we go even further back than that. Got 2 drivers, that of Brian Lynch, as well as Hastings, and also that of Zach Kreitz, going to be right on top of one another.
Yeah, you also got Ross Tatum there in the 21 machine. He's going through. And, man, Hasty there losing out 3 spots. And now Wade going to go to the inside. That's going to be almost 4 positions for Hasty in the 9. Not what he wants to see is he's going to be dropping back almost all the way back here around 27th to 28th.
And for Patrick Hastings, another one of those drivers last week involved with a late contact into the outside wall and getting suspension issues and was not able to finish out the race. Was hoping for a better run for the 9 machine, but trying to go for a top 25 run, which would be spectacular for how the 9 has been going, and especially for this season. Get any type of points you can, because there's still a lot of season to go, and that potential chance of a win always looming with the knowledge of some of the races that are coming up and some of the wild cards that you never know could happen.
Yeah, and we know Patrick Hasty always willing to do an interesting strategies right in front of him. These 2 battling of Kreitz and Bustler there, and this is really stacking them up with Tatum's going to go back by. And, man, this is some great battling back here for sure. But, man, these guys would definitely, if there was their choice, they would definitely like to be a little bit farther up the grid right now. You like battling, but you're definitely a little bit frustrated where you're at on the grid.
Zach, the question of can you make it to the end always going to be looming, as we've stated. We don't really know. But if you could not make it to the end, when are you thinking about coming into pit road potentially to come in and make that stop if you know you can't make it to the end?
Yeah, I would say that window is going to close here around lap 70. If you're waiting past 10 to go to come to pit road, unless you're just doing a splash of fuel to the end, which could possibly be the strategy for these guys to do. But I think if you pit early enough and put tires on, you could make up more time by doing that, by going down pit road. So I'm surprised, if we haven't seen nobody come down yet, I don't think we're going to. But I tell you what, we could have a lot of gamblers out there, and these guys are probably looking to stretch it as far as they possibly can here to get down to the end of this checker flag. But you never know. We could have even a caution that brings out a green-white checker that makes these guys have to come to pit road.
Well, this little group that we've been watching, as this is going to be the 10 of that Chris Essery as well as Tim McNally. They've been running well, but you look back to battle for 8th. Brandon Pierce, Andrew Medlin, as well as Andrew Hess and Ryan Lynch. These drivers have been all on top of one another, giving a blanket over them, and this could be the group that can bring it out of yellow, especially with knowledge that we are trying to get a top 10 finish, and the aggression level continues to ramp out each and every lap that goes on by, with the recognition we are coming up to 11 laps to go when they cross the line.
Yeah, and if you're meddling here, you look up, you see all those cars coming from behind. You definitely don't like what you see, probably. So you're trying to hold on to what you can, as he's going to have Andrew Hess here, who's had a great rebound here, trying to break back into the top 10 for him. And, man, great stuff for that. But look at all this dicing going on. As Aaron Hell, he's even broke his way up into the picture, up into the 12th spot.
And Aaron Hale never give up, and he did this so often these last 2 seasons. As easy might force the issue of 3 wide if he can get back up to the speed. Backs off, lets Hess get going, but here comes Ryan Lynch with a little bit of a pinch to the outside. And, oh man, these drivers have been doing this back and forth for the past couple of laps, but also even behind them, they've been still having trouble with some of the drivers. That of Dylan Grimm, Max Ward, they've been dicing it back into trying to stay in the top 10, but oh boy, Ryan Lynch, he's struggling with those tires for the 3.
Yeah, Aaron Hill was able to make that pass there through the tunnel turn on the outside of him. Now he's going to have Trey Jackson to the inside, and also Kyle McCoy there in the 7 machine. So we'll see of this group, can they all get by Ryan Lynch, who right now seems to be struggling here, trying to find some grip with 10 laps to go here at Pocono Raceway. Is getting down to the end here, and these drivers are all going to be trying everything in the book to gain any spot they can.
Well, besides that checkup into turn 3, that Kyle McCoy actually was one of the fastest cars on track. The 7 really started to find some momentum for himself. I think trying to back off, get some speed, and try to attack again for some passes. But at the same time, it's hard to do so when you're seeing other drivers making mistakes. But there's the mistake I was talking about. Trey Jackson, slow off exit. The 7 easily making the pass. Now going to be up to that of 13th.
Great pass for him. There's also Andrew Hess making the pass on Brandon Pierce to take the 8th position between the rookies there. Aaron Hill gets up to 9th there, past Andrew Medlin. Is now Lynch is going to go pat into the inside of Andrew Medlin there for that number 3 of Ryan Lynch. So great job for him to fight back after losing that grip, but it seems Medlin definitely struggling here as the run goes on.
Starting to see if the over-aggression is starting to kick in, but now with the upcoming lap, this is going to be putting these drivers in the window of our longest run yet. Jason Bratton not going to be able to make it for the 91. I think those tires were just too burnt, hoping for other drivers to have to come to pit road, as this is a gutsy call from the 9. But now the question is, how many more drivers will come in the next go around, or even 2 to 3 laps from now? Because it is coming to that stretching point of, do you have the fuel to make it to the end, or do you even have the tires to make it to the end?
Yeah, that's going to be the question here. Is he's going to jack the car up and put tires on. So very late call here to put tires on. Maybe just going to do 2 tires here. It looks like they're going to possibly come around and do left side tires. So yeah, here he's coming down with 9 laps to go. Going to come down the pit road and get 4 tires and fuel. A little bit untimely, but we'll see how it works out for him.
And up front, they continue to keep on racing on. The question is, for our top about 10, will anyone hit pit road in this lap? No, 8 laps to go. And this officially, Zach, is our longest run of the race. Will we see yellow as more drivers thinking about when they're going to come into pit road? As with that of Thomas Ogle going to be trying to make the pass for 2nd place, as some other drivers will Bustler into pit road for the 36. Starting to see that trickle. The question is, when we see anywhere from 4 to 5 drivers coming into pit road, I think that's going to be our sign that these leaders might not be able to make it.
Man, I got to tell you, this is great racing going on for that 2nd spot, but what it's doing, it's allowing Ken Campbell to say sayonara, guys, as he is pulling away and opening up that gap as Ogle went to that inside, trying to make it work, but now he's going to possibly lose out 4, maybe even all 5 positions here, as it looks like he's going to be stuck on that bottom side here, as it's going to be starting on the outside here on the exit, going to have that draft, but it looks like Robinson dropping low, trying to give that help to that Ogle there, but it looks like the outside going to be too much.
Too much to handle, as too many drivers are in line, giving you the advantage. Cameron Sarton going to move up to 4th. Ogle falls to 5th place, but watch out for Timmy McNally. That 88 just been lingering and waiting. Same could be set for the 10 of Essery. They've been just being patient with their tires, watching everyone else battle. They've been just latching on to the tail end of this draft. And now the question is, if one of these drivers get too aggressive, makes too big of a move, that's a position or 2 that you could be taking over.
Yeah, these guys are chomping at the bit to get past Scott Rickard here to try to go run down King Campbell, but King Campbell doing again what he did last week at Texas. Last run of the race, just figures it out, man. I mean, he was very, very quick for the majority of the Texas race. That last run, though, was the fastest car. This run right here, been quick all night. Right now, he is the fastest car out front, and right there, Robinson, he just flirted with the outside wall. That's going to check him up and allow Sarton to his outside. This is not setting up good for Ogle and Robinson, who have lost positions here late in the going.
And Cameron Sarton now going to move up to that of 3rd place for the 94. If he can make this pass in the exit of turn 1, or will he not? Now Robinson holds strong for the 30, but there you see the momentum for that of Sarton on the exit of the corner. Ogle's going to follow suit, just no draft help except from the 10, who's just too far back to give really truly any assistance. It's up that of 3rd back to 4th and 5th. They continue to swap back and forth. 6 laps to go, and more drivers continuing to battle on. We haven't seen more drivers hit pit road. It's only been 3 that have done so far. But we keep our eyes on that of the fuel action. And also, are drivers going to start to clutch at all to try to save some fuel?
That could be the question, too. I mean, that could be why the gap has opened up like this, possibly even. I mean, doesn't look like that's the case, but it could possibly be. But here, look at this. McNally getting to the inside of Essery here, trying to make something happen for him as they head down the straightaway. And that's going to be a a great battle ensuing there. But man, I can't say it enough. Ken Campbell just starts seasons so well, man. If he can end the seasons the way he starts them, he'll be a no doubt championship favorite. But I tell you what, he's definitely been fun to watch for majority of the night. And you know who's drove up into this battle here as we're watching this between McNally and Esri? Hess has drove right up into it. Now also Aaron Hell there in the 9th position, not too far behind. This group has really caught up to these leaders up here.
Yeah, and our leaders right now, I mean, they're running about 2-3 tenths off than what our leader is doing, and even running anywhere from 2 to 3 tenths off of what the second pack is running. I think our leaders might be feeling that a little bit of tension of, can we make it on fuel? Let's back off our pace. Or could be the reversal of they're burning off so much of their rubber, the rest of the field's starting to catch up.
It can very well be that point, Sam, where the tires are really starting to feel the effects of running super hard out front. And it's looking like that because the gaps are just closing down continuously with this group that was farther back. Hess has got to S3 since he's right here, but just hasn't been able to make a move yet, along with Hell and Brandon Pierce. This group all stacked up from that 2nd position all the way back to 10th.
One driver that seems like he is not in any care or worry, that's Ken Campbell, who's going to be about a second off from that is Scott Rickard, who continues to try to pull away. Scott Rickard, that last lap was 1/10 faster. He's going to try to gain this a lot more, but battling going on up front certainly kind of started to spread out a little bit more than I expected, but the tire wear certainly is going to be an advantage to the 15 currently as it coming to 3 laps to go. Will anyone think about diving into pit road, or do you continue to stay out? And the question gets answered. They continue to stay out again.
Well, this is definitely nerve-wracking. Ken Campbell, he wants to see only the white flag next. He does not want to see any type of yellow flag here because that would really put him in a vulnerable spot here out front. We've seen how vulnerable he is being the leader all night long. And, oh, Scott Ricker there. We saw a little bit of a shot there from him. I think he just clobbered the wall there, holding on to that 2nd spot right now is Sarton. He's going to be looking to put the pressure on here possibly to get up into a top 2 position.
You know, with how hard we thought we saw that contact, I'm surprised he still has the momentum that he does for the 0-5 to continue to race on, and that gap for our leaders continues to grow. 3 coming to 2 laps to go, but Zach, like you noted on, we don't want to go to overtime, and honestly, late race cautions is what gave Kyle McCoy the win last season when they were running the Gen 6 Cup car, and it was a late race contact that saw that of Ken Campbell as well as that of Travis Butt at that time, making contact that gave the opening for the 7 to pull away and win. Will we see that late yellow? Well, it matters on this lap. If we see a yellow come out before we get the white flag, we go into overtime for 1 attempt. But Zach, right now everyone's pretty spread out, but from second on back, it is quite a cluster of drivers really starting to get more jam-packed.
Yeah, I mean, look at how jarring this picture is. I mean, you got the 15 out here 2 seconds ahead of the field, and then the rest of the group behind him all stacked up. Ken Campbell, what a master performance here. He's going to look to do 3 for the penultimate time here, Sam, and see that white flag.
White flag in the air. It's in the hand, but will it start waving before we get a yellow? Here we go. Ken Campbell coming across the line. And here it is. It's your freaky fast white flag. It's in the air. Ken Campbell leading the way by 2 seconds. All the window for Ken Campbell. As long as he's got the fuel, he should get the win.
Yeah, less than 2.5 miles now for him. He's just got to cruise to this victory. It's all about making it to the end. But that battle for that 2nd spot, it heated up. Sarton there gets tight in 1. It's going to allow Ogle to get to that inside. Now Rickard trying to break the draft and help that battle continue behind him. Very smart from him here as they head to the tunnel turn.
Wiggling back and forth, trying to help either side, not really giving a true advantage to either one. But right now, Cameron Sarton, no help currently right now. Thomas Ogle makes the pass, or does he? He's trying to come up clear. Going to be assisting his teammate of that. Going to be seeing the 30 of Robinson. Robinson trying to make the pass for himself. But up front, it's going to be that of Ken Campbell. 2 seconds ahead of that battle, and going to be winner here for 2 races in a row. He wins at Texas and wins here for the Pocono 200.
What a drive from Ken Campbell. What a great pass there from Ogle in the closing lap of this race. He's going to take that 3rd position and final podium spot. And Scott Rickard, man, he needed this, Sam. This is a huge run for that 05. He needs this confidence to run right back up front.
Got the confidence, got the win, and geez, what a finish for those drivers for second to third place. Thomas Ogle, what a move, and great to have a teammate of the 30 behind him in Robinson. But it's Ken Campbell that gets the win. You talked about it, Zach. Starts out so fantastic for the 15. The question is, can he keep this continuously throughout the season?
Yeah, he is the king so far of switching the cars and just coming out and swinging for the fence. 2 seasons in a row where he's gone back-to-back victories. It was 3 in a row last season, so we'll see if he can pull something off like that. There is, Daytona. He also finished second to his teammate Christopher Wade in the reverse roles of last season. So I don't think he could have pictured this season any better for him.
Absolutely not. And the 15 gets to celebrate it again. 2 weeks in a row. It was Texas, and now here at Pocono. Will we see the 15 win again? We'll have to find out. But we have our post-race show right around the corner. We'll be back in just a few, right here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting.
All right, we're back here, folks, for our post-race interview after tonight's Pocono 200. And what a race we had here after last week's great race at Texas. Another one here once again. But we're going to have our top 3 up here, and also we're going to have our biggest mover of the night. It's going to be that Ford Machina Aaron Hell. He drove from the 30th position all the way to 9th, gaining 21 positions. That's going to be the most of the night here. So we're going to have a chat with him about his drive through the field. Hey, Aaron, it's Zach up here in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yeah, I got you, Zach.
Hey, man, well, biggest mover through the field here tonight, 30th, all the way up to that 9th position, man, gaining 21 spots. That was a long fight here tonight for 80 laps, man. How was that? How hard was that to get there?
Yeah, man, it was so hard. These guys raced really hard in the back, and it was so difficult to pass. So I just had to. My goal was the top 10, and I was lucky to get there. But just pick them away one by one and do your best. Everything's single file, and tire wear is kind of a big deal, but everyone was kind of wearing at the same rate, so it was just single file, and you can't get down on the inside because they'll blow your doors off down the straightaways. So you had to be pretty tactical, and yeah, it was a difficult run up through there, but I'm happy with top 10.
Yeah, great rebound for you, man. Definitely to drive all the way up 21 spots to that ninth position. And, you know, that first one we watched you drop back a few spots. You know, we're used to seeing you do that, you know, with, you know, saving tires. And like you said here tonight, the tire work just didn't seem to be enough to be able to get past people. So did you change your, you know, the way you were doing it up? Because it did seem like you were trying to make more positions early in those second part runs.
Yeah, absolutely. The start there was kind of jumbled. I lost some spots because the car got in the wall coming off turn 3, coming to the green, so I lost some spots that way. Yeah, and then I just kind of rode for a little bit, seeing how things would shake out, and then, you know, every run after that, I was, you know, on it from the start. No tire savings tonight.
Yeah, definitely was a fun one to watch for us up here in the booth, man, and a hard fought one from yourself, making those 21 spots up, man. So congrats on getting all the way up to ninth. But before we let you get out of here, Aaron, and get ready for next week, anybody want to send a shout out to, man?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to apologize to Ross. I thought he came down on me, and I just watched the replay. I had come up trying to get the side draft and got into him and ruined his night. So I apologize to him. And shout out to the guys at Revolution Motorsports, fun group to race with every week, and my wife for helping me carve some time out to come down here every week.
Well, awesome stuff, Aaron, man. Congrats on being our biggest mover here tonight, and we'll catch you next week, buddy.
Thanks, man.
All right, everybody. That was our biggest mover of the night there, Aaron Hill, making up 21 spots from the 30th position all the way up to 9th. And it looks like we're going to be moving on up to our second place position in our interview. As doesn't look like we have our third place man, Thomas Ogle. So we're going to move on to Scott Rickard here in this 05 machine. What a night he had here. I'm telling you, this has got to be a big deal for him. So let's hear from the 05 about his night. Hey, Scott, it's Zach up here in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yes, I do.
Well, buddy, I tell you what, a great run here tonight, leading some laps, fastest in practice, and was fighting for the win almost all the way down to the very last run there. Man, take us through it because it's been a tough, you know, ending to last season and kind of a tough start to this season. So it's got to feel good to get the second place finish.
Yeah, I definitely did have second on the cards here. This is not a great track for me. I've always been hit or miss here, and apparently today this car is good for me here. I never would have thought that because I'm not just fan of this car yet. Yeah, I somehow saved enough tire in the first run to pass everybody, and then the last run I killed the right front the opposite way without having to pass people. So I have no idea how to do that. Worry about tires yet.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting one from us up here in the booth to watch, man. It did definitely see like it was from run to run changing up, man. So it was a great battle from you guys. But you know, like you said, the next gen car, you know, how has the transition been? Because like you said, it hasn't worked out the first few weeks, but here at Pocono, you know, not even a track you said that you're too fond of, it works out.
I have no idea. I'm hit or miss. It seems like this car just as much as the tracks now instead of just car based at tracks. So hoping next week at Coda, where it's my specialty with road courses in here, that I can do good again.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah. And kind of hitting on that, Scott, there, you know, Coda next week. How do you feel about that? Because I mean, that, like you said, that is your strength here, is road courses, no doubt. And this next gen car, definitely a little bit of a change up here with this car, though.
yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Coda when it was at the officials back a bunch of months ago. But then since they've changed the car, it's been a little more comfortable now. When I went back and did a couple laps after the update.
Well, man, I tell you, it's going to be fun to watch you guys battle next week. I know you're going to be a threat up there up front in the 05 machine, but had a great run here tonight at Pocono, finishing in out second. But before we let you get out of here, Scott, as always, buddy, anybody got to send a shout out to?
Everybody's team and my dog.
Awesome stuff, buddy. Congrats on second, and we'll catch you next week at Coda, my friend.
Yep.
All righty, everybody. That was your second place driver there, Scott Rickard. What a drive for him there. Like you said, Pocono didn't seem to be the place they thought it would work out for him, but it did. As it looks like we're going to be moving on to victory lanes. We still don't have our third place man of Thomas Ogle, but it's the man of the honor here tonight. It's Ken Campbell, and he is your winner here tonight for the Pocono 200. I tell you what, 2 in a row. This guy knows how to win back-to-back races. Let's talk to our winner here, the 15. Hey, Ken, it's Zach up here in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Well, man, back-to-back victories. I tell you what, buddy, and you know, it kind of even feels in similar fashion. That last run, you just come out of not nowhere because you're in the top 3 all night long, but you just seem to pick it up that last run, kind of similar to Texas, man. Take us through that last run here.
Yeah, so when the caution came out, I knew if we get to lap 44, we would have enough fuel to make it And so when the caution came out, I was like, all right, if we can stay green, I've got a good long run car. And so I came out behind Scott, and for a couple of laps, I tried to get up close to him, try to make him make a mistake, and he just wouldn't. And so I backed off and just tried to save as much as I could, and not lose positions. And it ended up working out, and I was able to save enough to, kind of get a run and then take it from there. And so, yeah, I'd done a lot of testing. I knew long run I was going to be all right. They were holding it about a second back, and I was like, okay, they're going to stay single file and they're going to catch me. And then they started battling, and I was like excited to see it because I was going to gap them. And at the same time, I'm like, all right, play nice because I don't want to caution. So, but those are all really great drivers, and they were able to hold it together and race cleanly while racing hard. So
No doubt, man. No doubt. I tell you, it was a fun night of racing up here in the booth for us also, calling all the action and, starting it off again, 2 wins in a row, man, and a second place finish at Daytona, pushing your teammate to the win. I mean, you started last season with three wins in a row. You come here, get 2 wins in a row now. Man, I mean, tell us which season do you prefer a little bit more so far? Because it seems you have a very good handle on this car too.
Yeah, they're both interesting. Can't really compare the two, honestly, because I had so much experience in the Gen 6 car that, it was just like home, just driving it. And it's been a very big learning experience with these cars. And so been putting in a whole lot of work, and it's definitely showing. And I think it's similar to last season too, where I had more experience than the guys early in the season, and I think that's where the success came in. And then putting in the work here, I think I've just caught on to it earlier than a bunch of the other guys. And so I definitely think as the season rolls on, the guys it's gonna click and they're gonna figure it out, and we're gonna have a battle on our hands each and every week. I'm just luckily kind of caught it before everybody, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely have caught it before everybody, my friend. Again, here is season 5. You've been on fire here to start, and we go to a road course next week, so I know probably not your strongest suit here, but how do you feel about the road course here in the Gen 7 Cup car?
To be honest, I have no idea. I have avoided road in this car like the plague, so I will have a very good view out my front windshield because it'll be all the cars.
Well, man, I tell you, it's gonna be fun to watch. You try to battle your way forward there next week at COTA. You started off the season with a bang here, and you got some points and some ground to help you there at COTA, man. So that's good. The news is for you there. But before we let you get out here and go celebrate, Ken, anybody wants to shout to, man?
Yeah, as always, first and foremost, thank you to my wife and kids for supporting me in everything that I do, and sim racing, my mom and sister for their support watching the races. Everybody at Storm Motorsports, it was a bad team night. The guys were just getting caught up in some stuff. It's an unfortunate night, but love racing with those guys. Team sponsor BG Construction. They came on board this season. We're having a really good time. Car sponsors, Under Armour and Netflix. Will Bustler for the paint. Everybody here at the league, Nate and Derek and all the admins do a great job running it, and all the drivers are fantastic. And we put on some really fun battles. And you guys up in the booth.
Well, man, I tell you what, you guys definitely put on some fun battles, and it's always a pleasure to call all your action here on Thursday night. So thank you very much, Kim. Thank you to all the drivers out there, man, and go celebrate this victory and cherish it, man, as we head off to COTA next week.
All right, we'll do, man.
All right, everybody, that was your race winner here tonight at the Pocono 200. That's Ken Campbell on the 15 machine. 2 wins to start off the first 3 races and a second place finish at Daytona. I mean, not too shabby from the guy who won 3 races in a row to start last season. So definitely we could be calling him the opener, I guess you could say. So you never know when it comes to those things, man. This guy he just seems to put the work in, and it really clicks at the beginning of the season. Hopefully it can continue on for him. But we're going to go ahead and head on over to our race results here tonight and see who was in that freaky fast top 10 as we look through the grid. It's Ken Campbell bringing home that victory. Second place is going to go to Scott Ricker. Third is going to be Thomas Ogle in the 83 machine. Fourth is going to go to Cameron Sarton. Fifth is going to be Joshua Robinson in the 30. Sixth is going to go to the 88 and Timmy McNally. Seventh is going to be Chris Essery. Eighth is going to go to Andrew Hess. Ninth is going to be Aaron Hell. And 10th is going to round out our freaky fast top 10 there. Brandon Pierce in the 38 machine. Is the order continues to click through. Definitely some notable names throughout there. I mean, you got to look at Kyle McCoy there in 14th. He definitely fought to get his way back up there all the way to battle into that. But Ross Tatum, a great run last week there in 25th, involved in the issue. Christopher Wade, our winner from Daytona, all the way back there in 36th. I mean, definitely a tough night for a lot of drivers here at Pocono. It seemed to catch a few guys out. As we had a clean and green race at Texas last week, and we saw guys make mistakes to get out of that race. Here tonight at Pocono, the cautions came out, and we've seen some carnage and definitely some damage out there on the racetrack that hurt some guys back through this order. But what a night it was here for the Pocono 200 here at Stars and Stripes on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, as always, on Thursday nights. It was a pleasure to call tonight's race here at Pocono as we head off to COTA next week. I cannot wait for that. The Circuit of the Americas always seems to put on a show, and something about Freaky Fast Broadcasting and COTA, when they come together, it just seems to always be an action-packed race. So you're not going to want to miss that. So make sure you come back here, as always, at 9:15 Eastern on Thursday nights here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But I tell you what, thank you all for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to call all the action, as always. And as we say up here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, stay freaky fast.